I copied everything that you guys do, the carpets, the charts, the people, could I get a shortcut possibly? How could I get to the point where you are? You've talked a lot about culture, and how do I get the same results?
We have benchmarked and learned from every company we visited, every factory we visited, but we don't just copy. We take the best and choose those things that can work for us. And so my advice to anyone else would be, you can learn, you can benchmark, but your company and your culture is different. And it would be a mistake to copy us or anyone else. What you ought to do really is see what you can learn and then adapt it in the way that makes sense for your company. And I think Toyota talks about this. They're not afraid to open their doors and let companies come in and see what they do and learn, because the implementation at another company will be different. It will be adapted to their needs and where they are in their journey. So one, they're not afraid to let companies come in and see because of some secret ingredient, but also they know that the tools aren't exactly able to be replicated in another factory because it's a different environment. So it's really the principles that you want to learn from. Identify those principles and then figure out which tools and systems in your factory will work best to connect to those principles.
Did you want to?
I'll say something. All right. So, there are many ways forward. One path of assured frustration and organizational rejection is blatant copying. Because you can't bring back what is someone else and say we're going to do it exactly this way and get acceptance. You know, it's got to become your own. There are ways to accelerate for sure. We encourage people to look at the Shingo model as a human-centric, value-oriented operational excellence model. We find that organizations who embark on that path seem to have a good model to benchmark against and grow. A good coach is great, who's been through some of those challenges before. People who we've worked with closer, who've seemed to make progress more quickly in their journey. They focus on some training and development systems. They come and spend time through visits with us, and they think deeply about what they want to implement, and they go back and think with their people first in mind. They don't copy all the charts on the wall, and they don't try and mimic. They really try and deeply understand and then labor with their people and their leadership in mind. Those are some things that seem to be success factors where we've seen people be able to accelerate with less frustration. But you also got to love the journey.
So I had three things occurred to me as these two were talking, if you don't mind. One is to Tolan's comment about we're going to change it. You know, you might copy something you see now, but then when you come back, we're not doing it anymore. It's fun when we bring that up in tour settings. There's always someone in the room who says, it's true. I've been here 6 times or whatever, and every time I come, it's a different presentation. They're doing something different. And I like that. I like the fact that they know they can count on seeing an evolution of process here. Second one, in terms of maybe what you do want to copy, is to Tyson's comment that the bottom of the shingle model, the foundation for culture, the cultural principles of respect for people and humble leadership. You know, we have people coming all the time who say, yeah, we launched this great improvement program and everyone was all excited about it, and then 2 months later it was dead. I don't know why it died. And I'm like, I know exactly why it died. Your culture killed it. You know, you don't have, I'm guessing, a culture where people respect each other, where anyone can come up with an idea and everyone's curious about it and interested in it, as opposed to going, oh my gosh, here she goes again. You know, people feel safe bringing up their ideas. And second of all, you got to have leaders who are willing to accept what people have to say. You're closest to the process. Let me hear your ideas, as opposed to, well, thanks for sharing. I'll think about it and I'll get back to you. that's going to kill the culture of continuous improvement. So I think that's a big deal. I said I had 3, only thought of 2, so that's probably all I'm supposed to say. But I think Nirmana has something to add.
I add one more. When the companies say we are in this together, what is that mean for the culture? Because if it's just the saying to be said because it sounds so cool, and it's really not delivered on, then people feel that. Our leadership has been on the floor a lot of times. We try to make ourselves approachable, to get to know people. We do a lot of Gemba assessments in the areas, and the purpose of that, it's not to just look at the different systems or processes, but also to make a connection with those on the floor. We never want to be separate than our people. We are all in this together, and that's how I see it. I want to know my people, because when we know our people, we care about people. And that's what makes culture what it is.
And one of the things that I think about as you explain this journey is people are probably wondering, if you guys are the lean leaders, who do you benchmark off of? Who do you look to? Who is your mentor when it comes to the principles and that journey and figuring out the right path?
Well, I would say, Tolan mentioned that we have visited hundreds of companies, any type of company. It doesn't have to be manufacturing, finance, mining, insurance, anything. We want to go see what you do. We have learned from all of them. But there are also very knowledgeable people who understand the business. And one example is TSSC, that's a Toyota Supply Center. When we got to a point where we couldn't go any farther with our standardized work, they came in and helped us make the next big leap. And I think they've taught us an awful lot and have helped us get better.
There are a number of people here. In fact, everyone's kind of associated with something where they're continually trying to learn and grow. And I think, there is a definitely kind of a canon in terms of there's a set of books and people that we kind of tune to regularly, like Michigan State, Mike Rother, Jeff Liker, the Shingo Institute. There's always some thought leadership there, AME. But we're how would you say? It's more important to be in the channel of learning than tuned to a specific profit, for lack of a better term. And so if you can find and keep yourself in the path of learning and seeking and staying kind of with new eyes and wonder and curiosity, the journey continues. And if you've kind of farmed the land that you're in, like, turn your eyes to another land. So we try and go to even random conferences that may not even be connected to our industry. And it's always interesting to see what sparks there, and we come back and share it, and then we chase that thread for a while.
So we've got time for one more question, and this question is directed to you, Gary.
Give me the mic.
So you talked a lot about people being in power, they're making decisions. You must be really busy trying to keep control over all of those decisions.
It is a nightmare just having to run everything here that is going on. Staying on top of it all. It's a full-time job, Josh. I remember early on in our journey, in the first few years, when I felt I was the one who understood what we were trying to do, I had my hand in everything, and our pace was sluggish. I mean, it was sure, but it was slow. When teams started offering to pick things up and run with something, letting them go and experiment and fail and learn and try something new, as that picked up speed, our pace of growth went up like this, just took off. And I remember one day I was walking past this area right over here where we now have the packaging cutter. And I was walking with Harold, who was my boss at the time. He was in my role at the time, and I was in Tolan's role. We're walking past, and I look in there, and I have no idea what's going on in there. There's stuff's going on. It's like a big deal. And I'm like, huh. And he sees my look, and he says to me, what's going on in there, Gary? He knows I don't know what's going on. Hey, Gary, what's going on in there? And I smiled. I said, I have no idea. And he was delighted. He patted me on the back. It's like, good man. Because what he was saying was, I acknowledge that you have set people free and that you are letting people go, and I applaud you for it. You know, I think he was saying it takes a big person, you know, to let go of things. And I don't know most of the things that go on, what's going on. I can ask questions about them. I may notice something, someone explain this to me. I have a lot of people explaining things to me, and I have a lot of things I have no idea about, ever. You know, it's just happening. And I find out how long we've been doing that. Oh, we started that 3 years ago. Wow, how's it working? You know, I think that's a big deal. And I don't think it's just me. I see that happening at every level. Everybody does that. And a year or two ago, we were on the night shift in the aluminum team. And Vincent Sand was the group leader in there at the time. And he was walking around. The different team members were showing us different things they had accomplished in the last 6 months. This was a strategy deployment visit. And we said, let's go into the cutting room. We go in the cutting room, and Robert is a team member, and he's showing us stuff that he did in the cutting room. When he's done showing it, it was brilliant. It was done. Vincent started to laugh, and he said to us, until this morning, or just before the start of the shift, when I asked who wanted to present stuff, and Robert said he wanted to present this, I had no idea he had done this. And it's incredible. And I love the fact that Vincent, one, didn't know that Robert did it. Two, that Robert didn't need Vincent to know that he was doing it. Three, that it was a success and Robert didn't feel like he had to go around telling everyone. He just made it happen. And four, that Vincent was totally comfortable saying to his boss and his boss's boss and his boss's boss, I don't know what's going on in my area. I think that's pretty cool.
This can make it in or not. I don't know. You do what you want, Josh. In terms of leaders, you know, as you grow, you need to let things go and let your people grow. It's easier to let go of the things that you don't really want to do anymore than the ones you do want to do. And it's easier to let go of the things that you're like, it's not a big deal if it doesn't happen optimally. And so this challenge, this is like an interesting paradox. Like passionate, engaged leaders find things that, one, they love, and two, things that are really effective, that they know are levers that change things. But they reach a point where they need to give up some of those things, that they need to hand them over to their people because their people are interested to pull those levers too and see the effectiveness. And it's hard. It's hard to let go of some of those things that you love. Like I love the leadership development training, and it's been, each time I've let a little piece go, it's been hard. And I can look back on myself and be like, okay, that suffered because I didn't let go of it soon enough, or I didn't lean in to helping someone grow into it quick enough. And it left me unable to expand to influence another part of the business or help the team grow. I think that's just a deep check that leaders have to do on themselves regularly to move the business and their people forward and yourself forward.
So actually, let me pat him on the back. He's saying he has a hard time letting go of that, but last night he wasn't here. He'd gone home, and I noticed in the conference room by our huddle area that his group of young leaders, this cohort of up-and-coming, fresh new faces, were all in the conference room. They were doing an activity, and I went in there. I said, wow, this is an impressive-looking group. What are y'all doing? And I said, we're making airplanes. And it was Anna was leading an activity with them and teaching them. So, dude, you let it go, didn't you?
A little bit.
Yeah. Very nice.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. I really appreciate all the comments that you've shared today.
That's it, part 4 out of 4. This has been such wonderful content. Thank you so much for coming back and rewatching all of these. We really think that this is going to serve so many people.
And again, hit the thumbs up to like it.
And you can subscribe for even more.
Okay, so I remember what the joke is.
Is that the joke?
No, it's not the joke. And